Were you reading Libby's books too much?
Yeah. I'm one who commands, ruling all provinces in my empire. Build aqueducts and say my name's Augustus. It's the Pax Romana. I wear a lord.
Salvete omnes, salvete amici, nomen mihi est Decumus Aurelius Inguinarius, legatus pro praetori Australiae et tribunis plebis. Hello, greetings everybody. Special hello to all of our Australian and New Zealand viewers and Nova Roma citizens right throughout both the countries, throughout the province. And hello to everybody else across the globe who's either watching this live on our Roman Twitch channel or into the dark depths of the deep future on our YouTube channel. Great to have you here with us and join us for tonight. We are studying some more of our Latin. For those that haven't or are jumping in through the series halfway, we've been using a book called Lingua Latina per se illustrata, a unique book in that it's all written completely in Latin, so there's no English help at all. Now there are companion guides that you can also acquire. But the book is written in such a way with the occasional illustration to help you deduce the definition, the meaning of words and phrases, and eventually you find yourself reading entire pages of Latin, which is quite awesome. So it starts very basic. It's kind of like a children's book, and it gets progressively perhaps more complex and introduces more vocabulary, more cases for your nouns and your verbs and your groupings. So it's been a great exercise. So we're going to continue this evening with Capitulum Quintum, or Chapter 5, and I'll also be joined this evening by an excellent colleague and a great friend of mine, and I'm going to try and pronounce his name. It's quite the mouthful. His name is Gaius Sempronius Skepsis Agricola, and I'm going to bring him onto stream now. I'm going to turn his audio on. Hello there, Agricola. How are you doing this evening?
Very well. Salvete.
Excellent. Good. I'm seeing some nice audio come through. I think I've had you a little bit quiet in some of our previous recordings, so everyone should be able to hear you much better this evening. Look, and we've got one of the senators joining us this evening, Salve. Great to have T. Draco watching in. You have to take a few deep breaths there. Yes. I get a little bit excited, I think, when it comes to streaming and anything Roman. This is great. Okay, so how are you feeling about coming into Chapter 5 this evening, Agricola?
A bit of apprehension because I did miss the last session, so the last lesson. So a little bit apprehensive, but let's have a bit of a read and see what we can make out of this next lesson.
I did some practice of some declining some nouns over our last lesson. But it'll be interesting to see how I go in this chapter. Yeah, right. The senator pointed out that I did have quite the long set of titles there. Perhaps not all of them, but maybe I can't speak them fluently in Latin, which is part of the reason why I'm taking this course, so I can both learn the pronunciation and also the correct way to say it. So. How good's your Latin there, Senator T. Draco? It'd be interesting to see how you fare this evening. All right, let's get started. Now, for those that don't know, we're using and watching a YouTube video here that helps us with the pronunciation, and so we'll also mimic the pronunciation of the course through the lesson. Head over to the YouTube channel Scorpio Martianus by I believe it's a Luke Rainier. Is that correct, Agricola?
Correct.
Yeah, he's there you go, and he's been studying his Latin for a really long time, and he's been recommended to us by a lot of Latin scholars and teachers to really help us with our pronunciation. So he has gone through and narrated the entire Lingua Latina book series, and it's sit here nicely for us on YouTube, and so we go through the same book but on his YouTube channel, listening to him orate the book. We practice that, and then between Agricola and I, we'll try and deduce the meanings based on the previous 4 chapters that we have been studying. So, without any further delay, let's press the play button here, and let's continue to read through Chapter 5. Here we go.
Quintum.
Okay, let's go back a little bit so we can hear a little bit more. There we go.
Capitulum quintum. Ville tortus. Ecce ville tortus Iulii. Julius in magna villa habitat.
Let's just stop straight after that first line. So there's only 2 sentences now. There'll be credit to Agricola. So he's not watching this live. He won't be able to test himself, I guess, on the pronunciation. But I'll listen to him as he tries it out, and I'll see if I can match that with Luke Ranier on the video.
That's a bit unfair.
Yeah, it is. It is a little unfair, isn't it? So
It's a lot unfair, actually.
Yeah, maybe we switch it up for the next episode. So, all right, what I wanted to do is I wanted to pause here just after that first line and really take in, I guess, this first image and get your interpretation to Agricola. So we have Villa et Hortus, and we see a picture of what appears to be a really nice looking house, and then some scenery, some gorgeous landscape in the background. And we're seeing 2 words above the image there, which is villa, which looks very similar to villa, and I think we can both fairly easily deduce what that is, and I think we still use that term even in an English sense, villa, to mean a house. I don't know. Do you have a more exact definition of what a villa is, Agricola?
Oh, I'd take it. It's a certain type of house, because the apartments that they had in Rome were also homes, and they were. There was a different name for those, started with D. So I think a villa is like a standalone building, as we're seeing here.
And we also see this other word, which is hortus. Now, what are you deducing about the definition of this word?
Well, I reckon it's possibly the foundation word for horticulture. So I'm assuming it's something to do with either a garden or, I'm assuming a garden.
Very, very smart. And I guess that we've both been learning that the sheer amount of English words that are derived from Latin is just phenomenal. And I think you picked up, particularly for that one, is horticulture. So I guess horticulture is essentially a form of gardening, or is gardening, right? So I guess we're guessing here that hortus, which is the masculine singular form here, may potentially mean garden. And I guess that makes sense for a villa. So we have, I guess, the house and garden. And we see the first 2 lines there. Did you want to have a go at reading those lines out loud in Latin, and then tell me what you think they mean?
So, ecce villa et hortus Julii. Julius in magna villa habitat. So I'm translating that to mean that this is the Julii family villa and gardens. Julius, who's the father of the household, the father of the household, and the dominos of the household, has a large villa in which he lives. So magna being villa and habitat, to live. And
did you know that definition of habitat from your Duolingo when you were practicing that?
That's exactly where I picked it up.
Yeah, same for myself. Although we both heard recently, right, that our magistra, our teacher, is not so fond of Duolingo, and perhaps not a lot of Latin speakers are. It's not bad, I suppose, but and it does teach you some vocabulary, but in terms of speech and sentence construction, maybe not so. Right, and I agree with your translation of that first 2 sentences there. I think ecce, that means to look or to see, to point out, to look, right? Is that what you remember ecce to mean? So I think it was in chapter 4 of chapter 3, it was used to highlight or to make obvious something in a picture. So when we were first introduced to Liber, book, it said ecce, look here. So it's not the same as to see, which we know is video. Is that correct? Have I got that? I see, video, or vedere, to see. Is that correct? I think ecce is to bring attention to. That's the way I recall. So behold, or here is.
Here is, yeah. I take it as here is.
Yeah, here is the house and garden of Julius, and Julius lives in a big house or a big villa. So we've got, there we go. So the good senator has pointed out his entire title there. Let's see if I can go through this. It goes, Senator et proconsul ex America Novare, I can't even pronounce that, Novare Boracensis et Media Atlantica. Gosh, that is quite a mouthful.
Isn't it? I get that from Duolingo as well. Isn't that New York?
Eboracum, Novom Eboracum, that's correct. Yeah, Duolingo gives that to us as well, doesn't it? And then, of course, we see a good praetor, Gaius Artorius. Welcome to him. It's great to have some senior officials and magistrates on board the channels this evening. It's great. It's interesting, and it's great to see his opinions as well. So, so glad you're joining us, Praetor and the good senator. It's we're very privileged to be among esteemed company this evening. So that's great. So you can test us out on our Latin skills as we go through it. Okay, so there's the first two sentences. I guess I wanted to point out with villa in this case here. So we would learn really early on in, I think it was the first or second chapter, when we're being introduced to in, which is very similar to the English in Ateron. And we saw that it affected the word or the noun when it was used. So if we take Italia, for example, if we had in Italia, the last A became elongated with the Macron. And I think we see the same case here with Villa or Villa. The final A gets elongated with the Macron again. So we have Villa and in Villa. And as subsequent, I think we see the same response with Magna. So that's feminine because Villa is. And then we see this elongated A on Magna, unless that's normally the case. Do you recall if Magna normally has an elongated A with the Macron? I don't think it does. Is that right?
It doesn't. Yeah, I don't think it does.
So it's matched here with the noun Villa with the elongated A because of the in. But it was interesting to see that pattern again. That was certainly something I noticed. And then I guess the other new word for us here, which I think we're both quite comfortable with, is habitat. I don't think we saw that before yet, which means to live, which sounds very similar to habitat, which kind of means a place to reside or live, at least for animals. I don't think humans live in a habitat, but animals certainly do.
Inhabit? We do inhabit?
Yeah, that's better. that's much better than what I was thinking of. There we go. The good praetor and the senator having a discussion about spelling. That's good. There's all sorts of Latin happening here. That's great. So habitat means is the third. Is it the third person? Is that correct? It means essentially lives or they live. He, she, it lives. And here we're referring to Julius. Okay, let's continue on. Let's continue to listen to Luke with the next lot of sentences. So we'll let them roll a little bit, and then I'll have a go this time of trying to read it out loud. Here we go.
Pater et mater et res liber in villa habitant. Julius et Aemilia tres liberos habent. Duos filios et una filia, non duas filias.
Okay. All right. Let's leave that there, and then I'll translate this part. So we got pater et mater et tres liberi in villa habitat. Julius et Aemilia tres liberos habent. And then we have duos filios et unam filiam, non duas filias. How do you think I went, Agricola?
I can't hear Luke recite it, so I'll read it. So I think you did very, very well.
Okay, not bad. All right, let's see if I can translate it. That's the next challenge. So we have father and mother and 3 children live in the villa, and we see a slightly different variation of habitat now. So we have habitant. So this is a slightly different form of the verb, and I guess this is a different case of verb here. Now, I mean, I'm just trying to think out loud. So we have a habitat, which I guess is singular because we're only referring to Julius in the first sentence, but habitant, I guess, must be plural. The plural verb, I guess the present case, because we're talking about both the mother and the father and 3 children that live in this villa. There we go. And the good Praetor has pointed out that is right. It's plural because we're talking about three people here. Habitare. There you go. And then we have Julius et Aemilia. So yes, Julius and Aemilia. So the who are the Mater and the Pater, and the three children habent. This seems to be another variation again here. And I guess it's referring to the makeup of the family here again. So we have two sons and one daughter, and we're seeing the accusative form of daughter here, not two daughters, is how it finishes. Interesting that they pointed that out, but I guess it's helping to introduce sentence structure, I guess, with the M dash. I don't know. So the habent is interesting. Now, apparently, the Praetor thinks this is another verb entirely, and I think that might be right because we have habit, which is the base word here, but we have habent, which is slightly different. So let's see what's it talking about. So Julius and Aemilia, something. Isn't that not meaning to have three children? And this is highlighting. So habent, habet. There you go. That's it there. So habent must be the plural to have for more than one person. There we go. We got there. There we go. A little bit of logic and deduction. Yeah, there we go. I think the Praetor agrees. Yeah, cool. So we worked it out. And so it highlights for us that, yep, Julius and Aemilia, they have three children. They've got two sons and one daughter, not two daughters. Good to see the accusative of daughter here, filiam, and unam, which takes on the accusative form, the same as daughter. Philios, because it's plural, and duos as adapted, again here, being the adjective to the multiple sons. There, very good. All right, let's continue on. Next couple of sentences, I'll tell you where we finish, and then Agricola can do the next readout and translation. Here we go.
In villa multi servi habitant. Dominus eorus Iulius. Is multo servos habit. Ancillae quoque multi in villa habitant. Domine aru est Aemilia. Ea multas ancillas habit. Iulius.
Okay, we'll stop that bit. So pretty much it's the next paragraph. So ending with Aquilas habet. So you see that paragraph there. So that's
Yes.
all yours, big man. Oh, sorry, that'd be Vir Magnus.
Okay, so in villa multi servi habitant, dominus erorum est Julius, is multos servos habet. Ancillae quoque multae in villa habitant. Domina erarum est Aemilia. Ea multas ancillas habet.
Cool. I like that. I think the most difficult word for both of us, and I think you got it, is the eorum in the first line, and then it's sort of half appeared again. Is it might be a slightly different word, but yeah, eorum. Yeah, eorum. Yeah, it's eorum and iarum. Mm-hmm. Are they the same word in different forms, or are they different words?
One's masculine and one's feminine.
Yeah, true.
So
eor and ea. Yep.
yeah, and
Anyway.
it's dominus and domina. So
There we go, and there's the clue there.
Yeah. So I translate.
Farewell to
this
our
to
Praetor.
mean-
There he goes. He's hopping off the day. Thanks for dropping by. There you go. Sorry, Agricola.
No worries. I take that to mean that in the villa there are many servants live. Many of the servants live in the villa. Their master is Julius. And he has many slaves.
Mm.
And I take that from is multos servos habet. And I think we said before that habet.
To have or
Is
to
to
be in
have,
possession.
yeah.
Yeah.
Habitant to live. and then ancile quoque multe in villa habitant. So quoque also. There are also many female slaves that live in the villa. Quoque being also. Multe, many in villa habitant. Domina earum est Amelia, so their domina or mistress is Amelia. Ea multas ancillas habet, and that is she has many women or female slaves.
Right, very good. So let's definitely discuss those pronouns. So we have both the masculine and the feminine pronoun for plural third person in the accusative. Is that correct?
This is where you're testing me.
Yeah, so we have eorum and earum, and I guess I say accusative here, or it's either domina eorum est Amelia. So there, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not the accusative. I mean, whenever I see M, I immediately think the accusative. But this is rum, which I know is a plural, and it might just be the nominative plural. Because I don't think there's an action necessarily being performed here.
No.
On them. Unless we're making reference to their domina. But yeah, so it may just be a plural third person here. Yeah, interesting. I'd like to look up actually, I wonder if I can't do it now, but I want to look up our pronoun table. I'd be interested to see that feature in there. I don't actually recall seeing that in our separate study here, but I think it's pretty easy for us to deduce because we're talking about the groups of slaves. So we're happy with the translation, but I think for myself personally, I'm definitely going to go away and make a note to have a look at the various case or declensions, I guess, of these words here and practice the different forms. So let's scribble that away in the note. But look, I think your translation's great in that paragraph. I've certainly got no problem
I'm just
there.
trying to see if I can find them.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's eorum. Okay, so eorum is the plural personal pronoun for he, she, and it. So eorum is the masculine plural, and earum is the feminine plural. And in fact, for the neuter, it's eorum as well.
Right. I guess that makes it. And sorry, did you mention what case that was? Was it like a nominative? Because I'm less convinced that it's the accusative case now.
It's the direct object accusative.
Aha! Right. So I guess my gut instinct was probably correct in the first instance. So I guess it's the accusative because it's the action. So the dominant being performed in their master. Yeah. So we're showing, I guess, the relationship here. Yeah. Okay. That's where I fell initially. Right, so it is the accusative. Okay, accusative plural. All right, cool. Good. All right, no, good discussion.
So where I've picked it up here is they've got examples, but, I don't know if it's consistent because the example they've got here is puer eam pulsat, and the boy beats her, which is...
yeah. Yep.
So, and it's saying there that eam is the direct object accusative.
Aha, talking about that direct object. Yeah, that's a clue, isn't it? Okay, let's continue on. I'll do the next couple of lines. But let's discuss over here in the margins. So we've got a first couple of clues. So we spoke about eorum already, and it's telling us that it's referencing the servorum, which is referring to the male slaves here. Is, which we know is referring to Julius. So instead of repeating Julius, we're going to use is here. And then we see similar pattern for earum and anciliarum, and then ea for Amelia. That's good. And I'll come back to the margin notes again after we listen to Luke read the next couple of lines. All right, here we go.
Julius in villa su habitat cum magna familia. Pater et mater habitant cum Marco et Quinto et Julia. Julius et Aemil in villa habitant cum Liberis et Servis et Ancillis.
Okay, I'm down to line 11. I didn't realise initially, but right, the numbers down the side on the right-hand side, I guess, are line numbers. So if I said line 11, you know where I finished?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay, so let's give myself. I'm going to read this first. So I'm going to say, Julius in villa sua habitat cum magna familia, pater et mater habitant cum Marco et Quinto et Julia. Julius et Amelia in villa habitant cum Liberis et Servis et Ancillis. Interesting. Okay, let's go through that. So, in the villa, Julius, and we see this sua, and I know that's a type of pronoun, right?
Yes.
So in the villa, Julius, I want to say he lives with a large family, or he has a large family.
His large family.
Sorry?
His large family.
His large family. His or his?
His, as in Julius in the villa, lives with his large family.
Oh, yeah. So Julius in the villa lives, with his large family. And I guess cum is with.
Yeah. So I translate that sentence to mean that Julius lives in the large villa with his family.
Right.
So Julius lives in the villa with his large family.
Right. Cool. And I think that's certainly what I deduced in the end as well. I think you got there a little bit quicker than I did. I still freak out of my pronouns, I think. But right, I get fascinated with some of the words as well. So we have familia, which is feminine, and we see the elongated a here, and we have magna, which is also feminine to match that elongated. That's interesting. We saw the in villa. I wonder if there's some patterns occurring because of that. But anyway, let's move on to translating the next part. So the father and mother, they live with, and we see a couple of names here. So we know that's Marcus and Quintus and Julia. But we see those in a different form here. So we have Marco, Quinto, and Julia. So why? So obviously Julia doesn't change in the particular case that we're referring to here, but Marcos and Quintus have. The form has changed. So what are we looking at here? What are your thoughts as to why we're seeing this? This appears to be a new ending, Marco et Quinto.
So I think it's the cum, whereas normally you'd have pater and et mater et Marco et Quinto et Julia, but because of the cum, and I think it changes them to the O.
So let's just double check in the margin, see if there's any clues. So the first clue we've got here is this elongated O and A ending. So we see in horto. Oh, that's interesting. And in villa, and so we've discussed that already. So when we use the in, the last letter gets elongated. And I think as you were already specifying, and you may have even seen the clue before I did, we see the cum Marco, cum Julia. So we see, because of the use of cum, or with, we see this elongated O at the end of Marcus. Is that the only reason?
It did it in the line above too, with cum magna familia.
Yeah, right. Okay, so cum does something to the words like in does, in that it provides this elongation. And because Marcus doesn't normally have an O or an A, and it wouldn't have an A ending. So here it adopts an O ending, the same as Quintus. But Julia already ends in an A, so it just gets an elongated Macron above it as well. That's, interesting. Okay. An interesting pattern. I'm not sure why, but we'll accept it.
The next sentence throws a spanner in the works.
Okay, let's have a look. And that says, Julius and Amelia, and I'm almost translating directly, so Julius and Amelia in the villa live with liberis, so I guess children and slaves and female slaves, or maids. Male slaves and female slaves. So it's sort of reiterating a little bit what we've already read in the chapter above, but right, it is a spanner in the works. So we see cum used again here, but we don't see any elongation or changes here. We don't see libero, which is perhaps what we would have expected, or servo. We didn't see that. However, we are seeing plural forms. So unlike before with the names, they were singular, I guess. I mean, I suppose you could have multiple Marcuses, but here they were singular, so they got the ending. Whilst here, these are the plural forms. So liberi and liberis, servus and servis, and ancilla and ancilis. Maybe that is the cause of the spanner. to continue to write our analogy there.
I've just checked the
companion? Yeah, great.
Companion,
what do you got?
So it was the accusative plural before that we were talking about. So that's correct.
Oh, good. Okay.
And now I'm just going to quickly find cum. This chapter you'll learn more prepositions. Like in, the preposition ab, cum, ex, and sine cause the following nouns to take the ending elongated O for masculine and neuter, and elongated A for feminine. And in the plural, it goes to is with the elongated I. So in atrio, ex horto ab Amelia, cum liberis sine rosis. So the form of O, A, and is called ablative.
Okay. The ablative.
The old ablative will get you every time.
Right, so Marco, Quinto, Julia Quae, so they're all the ablative.
They are all, yes.
Okay.
So with the elongated O, A, and IS are called the ablative. In Latin, causus ablitivus.
Ablativus, yeah, right. I think I was initially pronouncing the word as ablative. Ablative sounds so much better.
Ablativus. Ablative, yeah.
Vitamins, Caribbean, yeah. Tomato. Castle. Oh, castle, yeah. Yeah, okay. So we're being introduced to the ablative here. Right, okay. So even without the companion, I guess we've recognised a different form here, but it is more established than perhaps we first initially led on. And so if we send Marcus through the different cases, we'd get to the ablative, which would be Marco. just seeing the senator's comments here. Like the armour, he says. Yeah, good. All right, so that's that paragraph. I think we're pretty happy with the translation. Let's listen to Luke some more, and you're up next to Agricola, so let's listen. Here we go.
Villa Julien magnortost. In Italia sunt multae villae cum magnis hortis. In horti sunt rosait lilia. Julius multas rosas, it multa lili nortos suavet. Hortus Julii pulcherest, qui neo sunt multae pulchrae rosae liliaque.
Okay, I've taken you all the way down to line 16 there. So you got a nice big chunky piece here. All right, have a go and talk us through it.
Okay, so Villa Julii in magno horto est. In Italia sunt multae villae cum magnis hortis. in hortis sunt rosae et liliae. Julius multas rosas et multa liliae in horto suo habet. Hortus Lulius pulcher et est, quia in eo sunt multae et pulcrae rosa liliaque.
Yep, you got it. That's from what I recall from Luke's oration. Yeah, Lilique. Yeah, you got it. You got it. All right.
I think you might be being generous.
I find that if you just say things quick enough and people don't really hear you, it's.
I did listen to Luke Ranieri go through this twice before coming on air, so I know he's very fluent and very smooth in the way he's reading, but you'd expect him to be.
Indeed. Okay. Talk us through what you think the translation is here for this paragraph.
So here I'm taking this to mean that the Julii villa is on a large estate or in amongst a large garden. I'm going to have to find out what horto is.
I reckon that's another. Is that another case of the ablative here? Because we see the in, and I'm seeing in the margin we see that eo and horto, and we do see the in, and the in here is applying to horto. So I think you might be right. That's my guess. The same as what you've just translated it as.
It's just a matter of what hortus means. Is it garden? Is it? Yeah, that's the thing that.
Let's say garden. I liked your deduction and reasoning. Yeah, let's go with garden.
Okay. In Italy, there are many villas with large gardens. In the gardens, there are roses and lilies. Julius has many roses and many lilies in his garden. The Julius garden is beautiful or pretty. And in eo sunt, and something also many beautiful roses and lilies, lilies.
And you picked up the correct. You've picked up the end with the que at the. We learned that in chapter 3 or 4, I think. Yeah, we see that que instead of et, we can use que on the end here. I'm interested to know if there's any scenarios where you can't apply a que in a substitute for an et, but you picked it up. And I think we've learnt a new word there, which is pulcher, and it also has the feminine and neuter, pulcra and pulcrum, an adjective. So hortus, I guess a male garden can have pulcher, and I guess you've determined that to be beautiful. I guess you speak. I mean, it makes sense for a flower to be beautiful. You're pretty confident with that translation.
In the left hand side, it says rosa pulchra. So it's a description of a
right.
I'll check the companion whether it gives us a translation for the
yeah. I guess it makes sense for a flower to be beautiful, and it definitely is a form of adjective here, with the male, female, and or masculine, feminine, and neuter variations, and we have different applications here. Hortus in the masculine, rosa, which can only mean rose, lilies or lilacs, probably lilies, for lilium, which is in the neuter. So,
I didn't think of lilacs, so it could be lilacs.
oh, okay. Well, actually, what colour are lilacs? Are they purple? And this is showing us a white photo.
And white, yeah. And they look a bit like a lily, don't they?
To be honest, my horticultural knowledge is pretty lacking. Non-knowledge. Right, and so I think I was pretty happy with all your translation there. I guess the last line. So, Julia's garden is beautiful. Yeah, I'm happy with that because there are many beautiful roses and lilacs. So let's talk about that eo sunt. I guess that stumped us both as we were going through there. Is that? I mean, when we read that naturally, just what came out in English, we said there are thoughts.
Okay, so sorry. Pulcher, pulcra, pulcrum is beautiful, fine.
Perfect. Okay, good.
Beautiful or fine. So that's that. Sorry, and
got
your and the question was which one? Sorry.
Well, the long story short, eo, the eo sunt or the eo. What is that exactly? I think we read that as because there are many beautiful roses and lilies. Is eo referring to the flowers here, or referring to the garden in this case? So instead of saying garden, because in the garden, we're saying because there are. Yeah, what's that eo here? Because I don't think we've come across that yet, have we? Well, actually, I think we sort of have in a way. Further up, we had eorum, did we not?
Yes, yeah.
And that was the accusative third person, and so here it is in a. I guess this is a more of either a nominative or a. It's another case. So it's that same word again used in the same context.
It is a pronoun.
Mm-hmm.
Eos, and it is the accusative plural masculine.
Cool.
Eo. Sorry, no, take that back.
Oh.
Eo, it's the singular masculine or neuter ablative.
Aha.
Of is. So is, which is the singular masculine nominative.
Yeah.
This is now the singular masculine ablative.
Right. And why is it masculine? As opposed to we're using the feminine or the neuter form here? It's because we're describing hortus, which is masculine, right?
Masculine.
At least that's how I'm interpreting it.
And the queer puts that connection to that, doesn't it? Because then we move into the feminine with the roses and the lilies.
Right. So we saw that in being used here, and that sort of slipped my vision when I read through that the first time. I should have clued on having seen that, but now that I actually see the in, essentially initiates the ablative here, which shows. I guess one of the ways an ablative just shows is location. So we're saying we're referring to being in the garden here, and here we're referring to hortus, so of is in the ablative singular. Is that what you said?
Yep.
Yeah.
Correct.
So we throw that O ending on now, because normally it'd be E-I. What's the spelling? We got is in the nominative. In
the nominative, you've got is, air, and id for the feminine and neuter.
Yep.
Then the accusative is eum, eum, and id.
I'm familiar with those
again.
ones. That's good. Yep.
And the genitive is eius, and eius.
Aha.
And the ablative is eo, ea, and eo.
Okay, there we go. The ablative.
And then if you go to the plural, the nominative is double I, E, and elongated E.
Yep.
E, like liberty,
Oh, yes.
for freed people, not books.
Yeah, that's right.
And then it goes to EAE, and then air for the neuter.
Mm-hmm.
The accusative is eos, air, and the genitive is eorum, and then the ablative is eis, it's the same. It's E elongated is and I elongated is for all three, masculine, feminine, and neuter.
All right, there we go. Okay, cool. So we've solved the riddle of Eor, or Eor. Eor? Yeah, I think, yeah. I'm going to double check Luke's pronunciation of that a little bit later. I'm going to put that on my to-do list as well. Okay, good. All right, I'm happy with that now. That's good. But I'm really interested to learn about this ablative case here, and we're seeing that with the in. Okay, my go next. Let's listen to Luke some more.
Aemilia femina pulcrast. Cyrano nest femina pulcra, neque pulcherest nasus eius, sed foedus est.
Okay, I'm going to pause it there just after those two lines before we flick over. Let's talk about what we're looking at here. So, Aemilia femina pulcra est, Syra non est femina pulcra, nique pulcher est nasus eius, sed foedus est. Right, so Aemilia is a beautiful woman. Okay, we can't tell that from the drawing, but let's assume that's the case. Syra, so that is one of the female slaves that we were introduced to earlier on in one of the chapters, is not a beautiful woman. And the Nique says, it's a sort of a negative.
Neither is? Is it like neither is?
Yeah, and neither is. And we have this word in Nasus. Is neither is or is not beautiful something. Eos. So let's talk about Eos. That's got our masculine pronoun here, which is that's a nominative. And I think you just talked through this, didn't you? Did you not, through the table?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
So Eos is. Oh, where are we? No, there you go. Back to the table.
But this, I don't think I've seen Nasus.
EIUS. So EIUS is the singular genitive for masculine, feminine, and neuter.
Right.
Eos. Nasus.
Nasus.
I think if you go to if you scroll to the next page, it might give you.
Hopefully we can pick that up as we go. So we're saying Syra is. So go on.
Yep. Yeah. Sorry. Go again. Go.
I was going to say. Right. I was just going to finish up here. So right. So we're saying that Syra is not a beautiful woman, and neither is. There's a genitive his something, which is. It doesn't quite make sense because Syra is a woman, is she not? Or is Syra? Yeah. But
Syra is a woman. Yes.
But is Foedus. That's a new word for us as well. So hopefully we can.
Foedus
is the opposite.
Foedus, I'll take. Yeah.
There it is in the margins. I just saw it. In the margins. Yes. So ugly.
Yes,
but
correct.
Is essentially not beautiful. Is what we're assuming is ugly.
So at this point, I'd translate this to be Syra is not a beautiful woman, nor is something of hers beautiful. Instead, but it is ugly.
I think I caught a glimpse of the margin before. So this is something, a feature. But right, so let's turn
characteristic.
The page. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. So let's have a look at that. Let's listen to Luke.
Syra, quae bonancilla est. nasum magnuit foiduabit.
And there it is.
There it is. Okay.
It's as plain as the nose on your face.
Oh boy. All right. So nasus means whopperschnoz, or just nose. Okay, so it means nose here. Neither is. So essentially saying neither is a nose, and because nose is masculine, that's why we saw the masculine
Nasus.
genitive there, because even though we're referring to Sira's nose, nose is masculine. So right, and nose was the object or the subject of that part of the sentence. Object, subject, worth clarifying that. Right,
So
and that's
that
why it was
sen-
masculine. That's why it stumped
So
me.
that-
Yeah.
So that sentence reads as Sira non est femina pulcra, neque pulcher est nasus eius, sed foedus est. So Sira is not a beautiful woman, nor is her nose beautiful. Instead, it is hideous
Wow.
or ugly.
Poor Sira. Poor Sira. All right, and we heard Luke read the next sentence on lines 19 and 20. So we have Sira quae bona ancilla est nasum magnum et fodum habet. So Sira is essentially is a good female slave. We'll see that quae. That's who is a good female slave, has a large and distasteful nose.
I'm not sure it's distasteful. I think it's a bit. I think it's a bit more
terrible.
crueler
It's
than
very,
that.
it's very witchy. I was trying to be polite. Right. Yeah. So we saw that quae, and that's something in the past. But yeah. So we're saying Sira, who is a good slave. So bona, we recognise from the previous chapter, the masculine being bonus, and I think the neuter would be bonum. Ancilla est, and then nasum magnum et fodum habet. So we're seeing different a case here, which I believe is to be the I want to say the accusative again, with the action of having it, and that's why both the adjectives and the nouns have taken on the accusative here to show essentially that she has them. Do you agree? Does that sound right to you?
As you know, referring back to the
Yeah, that's good. It's
I'm
great to have
I'm going back
you
to
as
the
our
champion,
source. Yeah,
the companion.
yeah, that's good.
Um,
Big book of knowledge.
Yeah, I can't retain it all in my head, so I need a reference.
Nor I.
That's why I'm good at open book tests, but not closed book.
Uh-huh. And look, our Magistra has joined us. Magistra Wenit. Salve.
Salve, Magistra.
Capitulum Quintum. We're doing chapter 5. And Agricola is double checking. In fact, you might be able to answer for us, Magistra. Agricola is checking us that the case of nasum magnum et fodum is all the accusative here. And my thoughts were because the action of habet, that she has those things, therefore they're in the accusative. So that's what we're double checking in the companion guide. Who the Agricola has. Have you found any reference there, Agricola?
No, I haven't been able to find it.
Yeah, that's okay. But right, we have recognised that it is in fact in a different case, and it'll be because of the habit to show that she has those things. Yes, it is the accusative. There we go. The Magistra has confirmed that for us. Okay, very good.
The accusative plural?
No, singular, because she's only got one nose. So nasum and then magnum. So the magnum matches because nasum. And then we have et fodum, which is also the accusative form there. Okay, very good. All right, so we're going to listen to Luke again from Julius in line 20. And this next part will be for yours, Agricola. So let's listen to Luke. Here we go.
Julius est virae miliae, feminae pulcrae. Julius Aemiliamat, quae ea pulcret bona femina est. Aemilia Julium virum suamat et quae habitat.
All right, I'll pause you there. So ending on line 24, 23, 22, ending in eo habitat, line 22. So if you want to do
Okay.
those 3 lines there, starting with Julius.
Julius est vir Ameliae, feminae pulcrae. Pulcrae. Julius Ameliam amat, quia ea pulcra et bona femina est. Amelia, sorry?
No, keep going, you're right.
Amelia Julium virum suum amat et cum eo habitat.
All right, and let's talk through it.
Okay, so vir is man
Mm-hmm.
or sir, man.
Yep.
So Julius, geez, is that saying Julius is Amelia's man?
That's how I read it. So
Cool.
Amelia here is the genitive, is it not?
Yeah,
Yep.
and she's a beautiful woman. And
Yep.
Julius and Amelia. Well, I did see that before in the companion, so I know it means amat means to love.
Right, and we see
Um,
what's happened to the case here for Amelia.
Yep.
So that's in what form?
I told you not to test me.
So Julius is performing the love action on Amelia. So therefore, Amelia is in what case?
Yeah, keep going.
It's in the accusative. So right, for me, every time I see that M just whacked on the end of a word or a noun, essentially, that prompts me to immediately think accusative. So amat is a verb here. And Julius is performing, this is how I think about it in my head anyway, so Julius is performing the love action on Amelia, so therefore she gets the accusative here to show that the action's being performed on her. So Julius Ameliam amat, so Julius loves Amelia. That's my thinking, how my thinking goes. I've just got to be able to speed up that process.
Yeah, yeah. Well, very good. At least you're getting the process.
Yeah, the M is helpful, like Gustav says. There you go.
Yep, yep. Quia ea pulcra et bona femina est. So, she, being Amelia, is beautiful and a good woman.
Quia ia
Also,
pulcra et
Also.
bona femina est. Ea. Quia, so that's because she is a beautiful and
good woman.
is a good woman. Yeah, that's good. We've heard many good things about her. That's a good reason to love her, I suppose. All right, and did you do the next line as well? I can't remember.
I
Yes, you
did.
Yeah, keep going there.
So Amelia Julium virum sum amat et cum eo habitat. So this I'm going to translate to be that Julius is Amelia's man, whom she loves, and with whom she lives.
I think it was thinking slightly different. I was going to say Amelia loves her man Julius, where you see the accusative form for all of those things.
Yep.
So Juliam virum, so the accusative for vir, and then the sum, and then the amat verb there before we add the next part of the sentence. So that's what I thought. So Amelia loves her man Julius, and lives lives with him.
Yeah, that's what I took it to.
Yeah, and we and I guess that eo, is that the ablative again? Yeah, there we go. So yeah, cool. Magrista's confirmed my interpretation is about right. Lives with him is correct. Cool. This is fantastic having the Magister right there. Yes, and so I guess the eo is the ablative here. The cum performing an action there and showing the relationship of where she's living in relation to Julius. And in this case, it's with him. Cum. I'm going to allow that message through. There we go. Ablative. There we go. Perfect. That delayed. Didn't like the word cum in the chat. That's okay. This is we'll allow it through. Okay, good. Yeah, that was interesting. We're seeing a lot of pronoun use, accusatives, ablatives now. But yeah, I think we're getting there. Okay, very good. Continuing on from line 23, I'm going to listen in now and I'll do this next bit. Here we go.
Pater et mater liberus suos amant. Julius non solus, sed quae milia, et cum magna familia in villa habitat. In villa sunt duo ostia. Ostium magno et ostium pa.
I gotta pause it halfway through, otherwise I'm going to lose that sentence. So we have pater et mater libros suos amant, Julius non solus, sed cum Aemilia et cum magna familia in villa habitat. In villa sunt duo ostia, ostium magnum et ostium parum. Villa duo ostia et multas fenestras habet. Ooh, that word nearly got me. Okay, so I'm just going to rewind just a little bit on my video. Ooh, just in case there's an extra clue in the margin I missed. Right, so again, we can confirm the margin. Eo is referring to ulio, the ablative here. So good, we picked up that clue already on our own. And then there's a new clue here. So we have solus, sola, and solum. So I guess it's a description, an adjective here. So it's got the masculine, feminine, and neuter form. And then there's another word here. It looks like a doorway or some sort of form of entrance. Ostium et fenestra.
So solus, I take to mean alone, solo, solus.
Yeah, that
Solo.
sounds pretty good to me. And then this picture looks like, some sort of entrance, or it's referring to door and window.
So finestra, or fenestra,
Mm.
and this is, I think, where I get myself into a lot of trouble. Finestra is window in Italian, and I'm just assuming that fenestra is window, and ostium
Must mean door.
must be door.
There we go. The Magister has confirmed that for us. So through the deduction of the images, ostium is door, fenestra is window, and your Italian has helped us again. That's very good. Very, very good. All right, so yes, here we go. Line 23. So the mother and father, we're saying libros suos amant, love their children. Is how I read that. Do you agree?
Yep, I agree with that.
So we see libros and suos, and the suos takes on that form because libros is in its plural form here. And that must be the genitive. No, because we were seeing that differently. Libros and suos. So they've taken on that case here. They love their children.
So
Magister has confirmed my thinking was not correct there. That's right. And we see
I'm getting
amant,
after the companion.
which will be plural form here, because we're talking about multiple children. So OS, she asked, what is that ending, the OS ending? Trying to think back to my declining. OS.
So OS is the, I think it's the accusative masculine plural.
I was thinking plural, and yeah, you're right, and it is the accusative here, and we should have seen it because of the verb, right? Amant. There's a verb here, and it needs to be applied to something, and so we're being applied to their children. So it points to Agricola, suos liberos, the plural accusative, masculine. Very good. Okay,
I picked it up out of the companion. So
that's right. You still get the points. Well done. So and then we have Julius and we deduce that Julius is not alone, but with Amelia, and we see that cum and the Macron end on the back of Amelia because of the use of the preposition of cum here, and with a large family in the villa that he lives in. So they all live. Yep, there we go. So reading it word for word direct, but yes, Julius is not alone, but lives with Amelia and a large family in the villa. That's good. And then in the villa there are something called an ostia. So, and
ostium we said was door.
So ostium we said was door. So I guess we're saying in the villa there are 2 doors. We have the ostium magnum, so a great door or a big door, and ostium parum, the small door. The villa has 2 doors and many windows, and it has many windows. The villa has many 2 doors and many windows. There we go. Deducing that from the picture we see on the right-hand side. So ostia is the plural form of doors. And it's a bit like oppidum and oppida. So the neuter and then the plural of a neuter, it takes an A ending, oppida. So here we see ostium, I guess neuter for singular door, and then ostia, multiple doors. There we go. Cool. All right. And the Magister is checking us as we go. All right. Very good. Very good. Besides my stumping myself and it was staring me in the face with the accusative plural, that wasn't too bad. Okay. Let's let Luke finish off, and that'll take us to the next page, I think. And then it'll be Agricola's turn. Here we go.
Illa sunt duostia, ostium magnum et ostium parum. Villa duostiat
some more at the
multas
bottom of the page here. Hang on.
finestras habet.
Yep, there you go.
In villa Iulii magnatrius quim pluio. Quid est in pluio? Eneost aqua. In atrio nullae fenestrae sunt.
There we go. I just love the way that Luke is able to read. He almost sings the language. I mean, Latin's very poetic anyway, isn't it? Particularly because of, I'm not sure how you describe the Latin language, but because of the endings it uses, it's a particular type of language. But because of that, you get a lot of rhythm and a lot of rhyming, and it almost just sort of bobs through a sentence. It's magical to listen to sometimes, particularly when you get somebody as good as Luke that's pronouncing it here. All right, so we've got the last 2 and a bit lines down the bottom of that page 33 under the image of an atrium or atrium. Please talk us through it.
Yeah, Luke, he just sings those words. They just flow from he just flows through. But anyway, with years of practice, I'm sure we'll get there. in villa Iulii magnum atrium est cum impluio. Quid est in impluio? In eo est aqua. In atrio nullae fenestrae. In atrio nullae fenestrae sunt.
Cool.
So in the Julius Villa, there is a large atrium.
Yeah, that's pretty easy.
With an impluvio.
Right. So that's a new word for us. Well, let's see if we can deduce it reading on.
quid est in emplorio. So what
Oh, here we go.
is what is in the emplorio? In it, there is water.
So I guess it's like a pool,
Cool.
some sort of like a decorative pool or a fountain. I
Yeah.
saw one of these in the Quintus household on Spartacus. They had one too, although it was often
Yeah.
filled with blood.
I've seen it in the Rome series. They had it in the in some of the houses. They had it as well.
It was a common
They collect-
feature.
You can actually see, if you have a look above the pool, there's an opening in the roof,
Yeah, so it catches rainwater. There we go.
and so it catches the rainwater. And my understanding is that from there it goes into a cistern of some sort
Aha.
as well, so it provides water to the homes. But so in atrio nullae finestrae sunt. There are no windows in the atrium, or the atrium has no windows.
Aha. And we see, nullae, I guess to mean none or less than 1 or 0. So in atrio, so I guess this is the ablative again. I keep thinking ablative, but I much prefer the way that you and the Magistra pronounce that as ablative. I think that's correct, and I like that better. So I'm trying to make myself say ablative instead of ablative. I like ablative. So this appears to be the ablative form of atrium. So we have atrio, like an abbey. Oh, that's interesting. Ablative like an abbey. Ablative abbey. Yeah, okay. Nullae. Yeah. So there are no windows. There are no windows in the atrium. Cool. All right. Very good. Let's roll on to the next page. I think we'll do halfway through this chapter. At the rate we're going, we're going to go particularly quickly, so we'll go about halfway. So we're currently 3 minutes into a 10-minute video.
Well, we are translating and having fun with it. So
We are indeed. All right, let's crack on. Here we go.
Etiam peristulum magnuet pulchrin velast. Peristulum est vocabulum Graecum.
I'm just going to pause in there. I want to practice this word. Pestulum. Peristulum. So he appears to have slightly less syllables than what I thought it would have. I'm going to go just back a little bit further and hear him say that again. Here we go.
Nullae
I'm getting
fenestrae
the benefit of that. I can't hear it.
Yeah.
Etiam peristulum
Peristulum. Yeah.
Stulum.
Peristulum. Yeah, he says peristulum. Let me listen.
wow.
Let me listen to it again and confirm.
magnuet pulchrin velast. Peristulum
Peristulum. Yeah, the Y is almost non-existent. But peristulum. It's a cross between a U and something else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Peristulum. That's pretty close. I'm not quite getting it with the English voice box or the Western voice box, but my trouble comes around that Ugreika, the Y. It's pretty close. Anyway, let's listen to him say the rest of that little bit here.
est vocabulum Graecum. In viris Graecis et Romanis magnet pulchra peristula sunt. Est nin pluin peristulo, id non in peristulo, sed in atrio est. In peristulo parvus ortus est.
All right, let's pause it there. I'm pausing at the end of line 34. Okay, so we have the peristulum, which looks to be some sort of enclosed outdoor garden surrounded by columns here, at least based on the image that we're seeing. A peristulum. What the closest translation? An enclosed open-air space. I don't know if there's a direct English translation here, but some sort of enclosed internal space, internal garden perhaps.
I'll go to the,
Enclosed on all four sides in the villa. I don't think we have a succinct a peristyle in English. So that's new to me. I wouldn't have known that. Was that a word you're familiar with?
No. I'm just seeing it in the companion.
Okay, it's like a peristyle. So peristulum. All right. So let's read through this first, and then I'll try on the translations. Here we go. So etiam peristulum magnum et pulchrum in villa est. Peristulum est vocabulum Graecum. in viles Graecis et Romanis magna et pulchra peristiala sunt. Esne im pluvium in peristulo, id non in peristulo, sed in atrio est. In peristulo parvus hortus est. Okay, man, that peristulum is quite the mouthful, and I'm not doing it justice. Okay, so let's go back to the top there. First of all, we have the Magistra is telling us that she's leaving. Thanks again for joining us, Magistra. You have been fantastic. You've been very helpful in our lessons as we dance and fumble through this. This is good. So thank you, and enjoy if you're going off to teach. Enjoy.
Vale.
Vale, yeah. So we have etiam, and it's telling us in the margin that etiam is equal to quoque etiam. We see etiam again. So, and we know that quoque, it means also, right? Is that how you remember quoque to mean?
Correct.
I don't quite understand.
It's the plural?
Because it repeats etiam there again. I don't know why it does that.
I'll go to the companion and see what that tells us.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Let's run it as some sort of also here, but we say something about the peristulum is great, is big, and beautiful. Is in the villa. So in the villa there is also. So it may okay, that's interesting. So a little bit like esne, when you can put ne as a suffix on the end of a word to pose as a question. Maybe this is something like that for quoque that implies a sentence linking articles. I don't know. What have you got in the companion there? Have you found something?
No, still looking.
Yeah, okay. But the way I'm reading this now, if it is similar to quoque, saying also in the villa, there is a peristulum, a great peristulum, and beautiful. So a great and beautiful peristulum in the villa. And if we're reading this through the story, which we are, I think that's where this etiam plays in. So it's just highlighting to us also a continuing idea. It's a bit hard to read that clue in the margin, etiam meaning quoque. But if we say, also in the villa, there is a great and beautiful peristulum, or a peristyle, as it apparently is in English. Okay. Peristulum is a Greek word. That's est vocabulum Graecum. So peristulum is a Greek word.
So I found
What do you got?
etiam.
Yeah.
So it's an adverb.
An adverb.
And it means also, even, yet. So also. So.
Okay. So what is? I'm curious then as to perhaps context now. So quoque we know means also. Etiam is also a form of also, or as you say, even or yet. So what are the contexts here? Like, for example, could we start this same sentence with quoque interchangeably? That's the sort of questions I guess I have.
No. So is the peristyle the columns, in which case it's multiple? And that's where etiam is the plural of quoque with peristulum?
This is an interesting thought.
Because it's peristulum and peristuli. So like ostium, which is one door. Oh no, that doesn't make sense. I've just talked myself out of it.
Great, good logic. There you go. You're solving. That's note 3 for us this evening. Is I guess more context for etiam and its relationship to quoque. But at the very least, we can see now that peristulum is a Greek word in Greek villas and great Roman. In great Greek and Roman villas, there are beautiful peristyles. Okay, and peristyle, multiple peristyles. pulchra taking on that plural form to match the peristilla. Okay, and then we say estne in pluvium in peristulo. So, have we come across impluvium yet? Oh, yeah, it means...
Yep. Yeah. That's
so
the
we've got
pond.
id. It's the pond. Right, okay.
Yeah, remember the pond we've had in the other
True. We just encountered. There we go. So
water basin in the atrium for collecting rainwater.
yeah, impluvium is a much more succinct way, or pool is a much more succinct way of saying it. I like that. Okay, so is there a pool in a peristyle? And then we're saying the id, which we were flying here, so it is not in the peristyle, but in the atrium. We're seeing the ablative form again here because we're referring to a location. So is the pool in the peristyle? It is not in the peristyle, it is in the atrium. Okay, and then we finish off with, in the peristyle, there is a small garden. Assuming hortus means garden, which I think is our running go at the moment. Okay, good. I think we should be able to get to the end of this page and we might call it quits. We'll see how we go. We may or may not do another one. We'll see where the good finishes are. Okay, so the next part, we'll listen to Luke again and there will be time for Agricola to read through. Here we go.
In villa sunt multa cubicula. Quintus in cubiculo parvo dormit. Est ne magnum cubiculum marci, id quoque parvunst. Iulius et Aemil in cubiculo magno dormiunt. Ubi dormiunt servi, I quoque in cubiculis dormiunt.
I'll stop there. It could run on forever. So I've stopped you at dormiunt in line 39. So the first word of line 39, I've stopped you there, starting with in villa sunt
The
multa.
first dormiant or the second dormiant?
The second dormiant, line 39.
Okay, all right. In villa sunt multa cubicula. Quintus in cubiculo parvo dormit. Estne magnum cubiculum marci, id quoque parvum est. Iulius et Aemilia in cubiculo magno dormiunt. Ubi dormiunt servi, in quoque in cubiculis dormiunt.
All right. I'm just going to look over the clue, and we've already talked about this already when we're talking about a pronoun table. So we see this E, I guess this really long, which we're seeing is equal to that other pronoun, ea. It's, how do we pronounce ei? That escapes me. But it's referring to the servi, the multiple male slaves here.
Yes, correct. Yes, and that's what I was talking about, liberty as well.
Right. That's very good. Okay, cool. And all right, so we've seen that a bit of a clue. All right, talk us through. What do you got?
So, in the villa, there are many cubicles.
Yeah, let's go back
I'm
to the
thinking that it's-
image. The image at the top of the last page. So I'm just scrolling there on the video now, or right at the top of the page. Let me go up further. Here it is. So we got it actually maps out some stuff for us. So number one, it shows us is an ostium, which is a door. So that makes sense. 2, an atrium. So I guess that entranceway there in that big open space. Great. 3, the impluvium, which is the pool, or I guess the air conditioning or the rainwater collector. 4, the peristulum, which is the enclosed outdoor space. 5, now there's lots of 5s. They appear to be, well, rooms, I guess.
Pronounce 5. Cabicula.
Quinque, cabicula. And then we have 6, the ostium, which is the smaller door. There we go. So I guess it's like rooms.
Yeah, so I'm just going to quickly go to the companion.
Which sounds very similar to cubicle.
It's bedrooms. Bedroom.
Specifically bedrooms. So when we're going to work and working in our cubicles, we're really working in Roman bedrooms. Is that what's happening?
Well, this is the vocabula disposita ordinata. So this is in the companion guide, and it says specifically bedroom.
Okay, so
which does make sense because if you go to, I'm just getting back to the thing.
Mm-hmm.
because quintus in cubiculo parvo dormit. So quintus is sleeping in the small cubicle or bedroom.
Right. He'd be in trouble with his boss at work if he was sleeping in his work cubicle.
He would be.
Yeah, okay. Right, bedrooms. Okay, cool.
Esne magnum cubiculum Marci. So does Marcus have a big bedroom? Id quoque parvum est. His is also small.
Okay.
Julius et Aemilia in cubiculo magno dormiunt. So Julius and Amelia sleep in a large bedroom. Ubi dormiunt servi. Where do the slaves sleep? I quoque in cubiculus cubiculi. Here we go. Cubiculis dormiunt. They also sleep in a bedroom.
Nice. So let's talk more about that. E, which is the masculine plural. Now, what case is it? Is my question here?
Are you talking about the id?
No, the E, the double I.
E.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, e quoque.
Yeah, E quoque.
They.
It is they. Yep, I agree. They also sleep in bedrooms. So we're happy that it's masculine because we're talking about male slaves here, and it is the plural of. So what, I guess, and that's a quicker way to look it up on our table of pronoun declensions here, is that ia is what case is that? What case is e in this form here?
I'm going back to the companion.
Mm-hmm. I personally, I think it's. To think out loud, I'm saying nominative. What is the?
Yeah.
What did you say?
No, keep going. Yes, keep going.
Because if ia, would that imply that ia is the nominative here? Looking at the margins, I don't know. That's the extent of my thinking. That's all I've got. What do you got?
Okay, so it is the plural male nominative, and I think in the next sentence there's heir. Sunt ne magna eorum cubica, ea non magna sunt. So there, ea is the neuter nominative plural, or it can be the accusative, which I think it is in this case.
Yeah, and that can also be nominative feminine, singular. Is that correct?
No, a nominative feminine. Singular nominative.
Yeah.
Nominative. Yes, it is.
Yeah. Because initially I saw that, I'm like, but no, right, in context here. Yeah. Okay. Fascinating. So this is one of those words that you derive from context. So yeah, ia, and air, and what's the neuter? I forgot.
Id.
It is id. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry. Which are you looking for? The singular nominative?
Yes, singular. Yeah, singular nominatives here. So ia, ei, air, ea, and id. Are they the singular nominatives?
No. Is,
ear, and id.
Is, air, and id
Aha.
are the singular nominative.
So, ei, ear.
Ei.
Yeah.
Elongated I. Sorry.
Yes. That's not nominative.
I elongated I. Is that what you're talking about?
Elongated I. Yeah. Yeah.
Is the same as I elongated I, and is the plural nominative male.
So ia is the nominative singular, as in EI.
So, ear, EA,
Uh-huh. Hang on. I'm going to type this. I'm going to type this in chat because I'm going to say
Okay, so-
ear. Is that
so-
equal? That's not the nominative. So I've just typed that in chat. That is not the nominative.
ear, EA is the singular nominative female,
I'm happy with that.
or
Yep.
or
Yep.
the plural nominative neuter.
Yep. That makes sense to me. I'm happy. That's good. Okay. So let's go
Okay,
back
I'm
to.
glad it makes sense to you because I've read it out and I'm reading it and it makes absolutely no sense to me.
All right. I the only reason I know that is when I was practicing my declination of some nouns, that rings in my mind on my table. So I'm visual when it's coming to declining nouns. So when somebody goes, "What is the genitive of this word?" I'm going down a table in my head and remembering what the pattern was at that point.
Okay.
And so
yeah, I haven't done any of that yet.
yeah, okay. If you go to the Discord, did I post it on?
Yes, you did.
I
You did.
pinned something in the Discord channel, and all I did was I removed the boxes and I was practicing that, and then I used words from the backs of these chapters, and I was practicing going through those, and I think it was just the wiki page of the format initially, and then I was just trying to remember it off the top of my head, and I started to get a bit lost when we talked about when you go between the first and second declension. I get a little bit confused because there's a change in pattern there. But once you pick that up, it's okay. But right, so here, as I've typed in chat, ear, EI,
EI.
that is not the nominative form because we said is is the nominative. So
No,
ear,
so
therefore, is the
EI
genitive?
is the plural nominative male.
plural nominative male. So why do we have? So what's this E then?
It's the same. II and EI
Yeah.
are both plural nominative male.
Different cases though, right? Yes, the different cases. So which case is which? So they're both plural nominative. Oh, sorry, you just said both plural nominative male. So are they
Correct.
interchangeable terms?
I believe so, because
okay.
in the chart I'm looking at, it's not talking about cases.
Right. So we
So
could
if you have-
equally say ear as in EI, quoque in cubiculus here.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, according to this. So page 37 of the companion, if you just take a note,
Sure.
it'll show it all there, because this has got the eos, eum, id, and all that stuff in it as well. Eorum.
Now that you say that, I think I recall. Actually, when I did post on the channel, this is fascinating, and I do recall seeing there were some interchangeable terms on there. So if I go down to a lesson and the pin channel, here it is, and then my table of Latin pronouns. This might come up on the screen for everybody. Let's have a look here. What's quicker for me to do here? Documents. Okay. And I might be able to pull that up later, unless that downloaded for me somewhere. No. Okay, that's right. We'll look at that later. But yeah, you were right. I think I do recall seeing some interchangeable terms. So let's just roll with that. Okay, cool. You said, yep, where the slaves sleep, the slaves also sleep in bedrooms. Cool. All right, that's you rounded that out nicely. We went down the rabbit hole there. It's good. We're all learning. Okay, let's continue listening to Luke, and I'll do this next bit. Here we go.
Et multi servinuno cubiculo dormiunt. Et ianquillae multa in uno cubiculo dormiunt.
Okay, there we go. Now we're starting.
Quae magna cubicula vent. Ai mirian peristulost. Est ne sola. Ai milia sola no
No, keep running. Here we go.
est. Libri. Quae peristulo ad sunt.
Okay, there we go. We'll stop it there. We've got a new follow. There we go. Perfect. It's our friend from the Discord, Usonius. our incredible poet from the Discord, if I'm not mistaken. Salwe, welcome to you this evening. Thanks for joining us during our Latin lesson. We're part of the way, or 40% of the way through chapter 5 of Lingua Latina, and having a grand old time as we stumble our way through. So we have, okay, let me try this part, and let's try and translate. So we have Sunt ne magna eorum cubicula ea non magna sunt, et multi servi in uno cubiculo dormiunt. Etiam ancelae multae in uno cubiculo dormiunt, nique eae magna cubicula habent. Aemilia in peristulo est ne sola, Aemilia sola non est. Libri cum ea in peristulo, that's a good one, peristulo absunt. Let's get that right. Okay, lots of words there. Ending about halfway through line 44. I'm going to go back up to the beginning. So we have sunt ne, and we know because of the ne ending. For you, Usonius, Lingua Latina. I think I described at the start of the stream is a book series. I think there's 2 books out. Is there Agricola? Yeah, there's two books out. It's entirely in Latin, and it's written in such a way that regardless really of what your native language is, you could read through the text and have a look at the Latin clues in the margins and look at the pictures, and it'll help you to deduce the meanings of the words and deduce what you're reading. And it slowly builds on your vocabulary, introducing new cases and terms and nouns and verbs over time, until you're reading and translating entire pages and understanding entire pages. So it's written like a middle school children's book, and it slowly gets slightly more complicated. Agricola and I only are up to chapter 5 right now, and our vocabulary is growing. We're learning through all sorts of cases. So this chapter has been particularly big on the ablative case, showing us relationships of nouns to other things and places in the sentence. We've learned a few other words this chapter as well, concerning flowers and gardens and layouts of houses, etc. Definitely something I'm going to need to practice going again to remember some of these words. More for us to add to our flashcards, Agricola, so we can practice those as well. An idiot's guide to Latin, potentially. Although I do have, if I do have this book here, I have Latin for Dummies. I don't know if anyone else has read through this yet. So that's probably the idiot's guide. But this is one form that people can take in learning Latin. So there's a Wheellock Latin series of books where you can learn, I guess, through that conventional format, and that's really good for teaching you to write and read Latin. This is a little bit of a different approach in that, there's no language English at all. It's helping you learn through deduction, but what it does lack is describing why the grammar takes certain forms, and that's where, I guess, the guided lessons that we're having with our Magistra through the Discord has been very helpful. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so, all right, so we've said sunt ne magna eorum cubicula. So are there, are there big bedrooms, something here?
Are their bedrooms big?
Are their bedrooms big? And we see the accusative here. Is that correct? Or the genitive? Eorum.
Accusative, isn't it?
So the eo, meaning, I guess, there, so it's a plural.
Genitive.
Genitive masculine, so it's showing ownership.
Genitive masculine or genitive neuter?
It would be neuter because cubiculum is the base word, is it not? And cubicula is the plural. And if it's a neuter, it takes on the feminine a ending as a plural. Is cubiculum the nominative singular? I can't remember. I haven't scrolled up. I should scroll up. You know, the picture of the map.
Oh yeah, cubiculum.
So it's neuter. So this is the genitive neuter, eorum, sunt ne magna eorum cubicula. So we have the plural neuter or cubicula, eorum, there, because we're referring to the slaves' bedrooms here still, I think, in this sentence. So, are their bedrooms big? And we say, ea non magna sunt. They are not big. And many slaves sleep in one bedroom. I see that here. And we have cubiculo, the ablative case here. Dormiant, sleep, multiple, I guess the plural, they do sleep, multiple slaves, multi servi, in uno, and that's taking on the ablative form as well to match cubiculo, which is being used as an adjective. Usonius owns the Wheelock book. Yeah, it's cool. I've got the Wheelock as well, and I actually started taking myself through the first chapter or two of Wheelock, and that was pretty good, particularly with the audio files that are available through the website. It helped me to get some initial pronunciation, particular certain letters and diphthongs, and so that was good, and it taught me some initial things about cases and the various stem forms of verbs, etc. So, yeah, it wasn't a bad start, and there's a few people that have often taken them through the Wheelock series. So I still recommend it, but I'm really enjoying going through this Lingua Latina book series. It's certainly given a different approach, and my vocabulary is growing, and it really makes you think quite differently, and it seems to work for me. And is it working for you, Agricola?
It is. It certainly is. But I've got to get my head around all those, the cases and the nominative and the genitive and all that stuff, which I haven't put my head to just yet. Yeah,
me too. There we go. And Usonius says his strong suit is in entomology rather than grammar. Very good. And I guess your entomology would be quite good with your passion. So that's good. He said on the plus side, he familiarised himself with the errors in Latin translation of Homer, which was the primary source for George Chapman in his translation of the Iliad and Odyssey. Oh well, there you go. That's I'd be interested to hear you talk some more about that on the Discord. That's fascinating. Very good. Okay, let's continue our translation here. So we're saying they are not big, and many slaves sleep in the one bedroom. Okay, so we say etiam anculae multae. So we're saying also there are many female slaves that sleep in one bedroom because neither habent, so neither have big rooms, I think is essentially what we're going. I've been put off by the ea, which is referring, I guess it's a type of pronoun again, referring to anculae, and then the nique. What's a succinct way of describing nique again? What did you say before, Agricola?
I would take it as nor. So I translate that to mean that the etiam anculae multae in uno cubiculo dormiunt. So also the women slaves, many women slaves sleep in one cubicle, nor is that cubicle, nor do they have a large cubicle. Habent, I'm taking as have. They have.
So
neque eae magna cubica habent. So they also don't have a large cubicle.
They also don't have a large cubicle or bedroom. Yep. So emphasising the point. Okay. Cool. All right. And I think I continued on for a little bit. Yeah, here we go. So Amelia. So I think this is starting to describe something. So Amelia is in the peristyle. Is she alone? Amelia is not alone. The children are with her and are present in the peristyle. Is that what you pick up?
Yes. Adsunt. It's adsunt.
That's so we have
We've come
present.
across that before.
Yeah. So you got adsunt and absunt. So are present is how I have that. So they're not absent. So it's ad sunt as opposed to ab sunt. So you
Absent,
normally you'd
yeah.
be adest and abest. So this is with sunt.
Yep.
So are present. So the children
Are present.
are present with her in the peristyle.
Yeah.
Yep, I can allow that message through. That's cool. Yeah, cool. All right, so we're happy with that. Very good. All right, so we're now going to continue on line 44. I'm going to roll on to the next page. Agricola, after we hear Luke, is going to continue with Julius Abest. Let's see how Luke pronounces this. Here we go.
Julius abest. Aemilia sine vido suo Julien vilast. Ubiest Julius. Inoppido tus clost sine Aemilia, sed cum servis quatuor.
Okay, I'm going to pause it there. All right, take us through us, Agricola.
Aemilia in peristulo est. Estne sola. Aemilia sola non est. Libere cum ea in peristulo sunt. Adsunt. Julius abest. Aemilia sine viro suo Julio in villa est. Ubi est Julius? In opido Tusculo et sine Aemilia, sed cum servis quatuor.
Okay. All right, and how do we translate this? What do we got?
Okay, so Aemilia is in the peristyle. Peristyle?
Yep.
Is she alone?
Mhm.
Aemilia is not alone. The children are with her in the peristyle, present with her in the peristyle.
Good, yep.
Julius is away. I
Cool.
think Abest
Yep.
is away.
Is absent, yeah, is not present. Yep, I get that. I remember that because the AB, absent. Yep, so he's not there. Okay.
Aemilia, so in the
Margin, yeah.
in the margin, so sine and cum are interchangeable.
No, they're opposites.
They're not. They're opposites. Okay. So Aemilia is not with Viro.
So you're looking at the ablative here.
Of Vir.
Read the next two
Ooh.
words. That'll help you.
Suo Julio in villa est. So Aemilia is not with, I want to say her man in the villa.
Yeah, you just go one word. And as I think I pointed out with a similar sentence above, Aemilia is not with her man Julius in
Julius,
the villa.
yes, in the villa.
Yeah. So yeah, you worked it out. You just had one more word to go. So yeah, that's good.
Yep.
All right, keep going.
Where is Julius? In the city of Tuscolo. He is in the city of Tuscolo.
Yep.
Without Aemilia.
Mm-hmm.
But with his 4 servants or 4 slaves.
Well, with 4 slaves. That's how I've got that. Very good. That's good. Our Magistro is getting herself acquainted with our poet in the chat.
Okay.
Yep. There we go. Good. All right, we finished that page, and you did well there. All right. Let's flick to the next page and let's find a nice resting point after we go through here. Go back to Luke.
Aemilia cum Marco quinto Julia quin peristylos. Julia rosas pulcras in horto videtabae Aemilia
Oh boy.
discedi.
Okay, yep.
quae Emilia non est.
I don't know what you're saying
non
before.
videt. Puelli nortost.
Okay, that's a good point to pause there at the end of line 50. Just the way he just rattled through a couple of words there, just brrr, machine gun. It's just so fluent. It was both beautiful and shocking at the same time. Where he says,
They just flow.
where he says in line 48, he goes, "Widet at Abemelia, widet at Eb." He just rolls through that so cleanly.
Yes.
Okay, so I wanted to have a look at the margin here first because we're seeing some vertical words and it caught my eye. Let's try and deduce what it's trying to say. So the sentence that reads normally says Julia cum Amelia est. So Julia with Amelia is with Amelia, and we see the elongated A.
Yeah.
I'm trying to work out what the two dots. And I think it might be referenced underneath. It says, and it's got Julia ab Amelia discedit. Julia leaves with Amelia. Oh, right. So I think it's a picture as opposed to it's a picture. So it's saying Julia and Amelia are present together.
With. Yeah.
And then if they're performing an action or leaving,
They're
in this
leaving
case,
together.
discedit, they're leaving together. We use ab here.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay,
So Julia is with Amelia. Julia leaves with Amelia.
it's interesting. So
Or is it Julia and Amelia leave?
So the Magistra has said here that the direct translation is from. So Julia leaves from Amelia? The picture is confusing.
No. Julia leaves Amelia.
Oh, okay. Julia leaves Amelia. Right. So the picture is confusing. So yeah, Julia.
No. So it's the other way around. It's actually Amelia leaves Julia.
Yeah, Julia leaves from Amelia. Okay.
No, isn't it Amelia leaves from Julia? So Julia stays behind.
Well, not according to the Magistra in the chat.
Okay. Julia leaves from Amelia. Okay. Julia.
So Julia being the object, right? Amelia being the subject. Hopefully I've got that right. Discedit being the verb. And what's the term for ab here? Being, I guess, from. So Julia. No, look at Amelia and the long A. I defer to. No, Julia discedit. Right, give me a clue. So Julia is the subject. Amelia is the object. Yeah, okay. Is that right? Julia is the subject. Yep. Because Amelia here is the object where Julia is being referenced to. Anyway, that's interesting. And right, the picture is confusing. I guess the arrow is only showing one dot leaving and not both, but you could misconstrue that as both dots leaving.
So but the link is that the ab, which is the ablative, the noun, which then has the elongated A, is tied to that, to the ablative.
So it's also is ab also a preposition? But
yes.
it performs the same function that cum.
It's a preposition. It's a preposition with the ablative case.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. All right, this is making sense. This is good. Okay. All right, so let's.
You.
I'll sleep on it some more and cement it in. Okay, so let's let me translate. Have I read through this yet? No, I don't think so. Or is it your turn to read, or is it my turn to read? I can't remember. I got sidetracked.
I think it's mine. Did you finish translating?
Oh no, you did the bottom of the last page. Yeah, right. So it's my turn. That's right. So I've got to read through this first, and then I'll translate. So, Amelia cum Marco quinto Juliaque in peristulo est. Julia rosas pulchras in horto videt at ab Amelia, I couldn't do it as fluent as him, discedit. Iam ea cum Amelia non est. Amelia eam non videt. Puella in horto est. Okay, so Amelia is with Marcus, essentially, Quintus and Julia, in the peristyle. Julia sees beautiful roses in the garden and leaves from Amelia. All right, so she gets distracted by a beautiful rose in the gardens and goes over to see them, I guess, is what we're reading here. And
Yes, I agree with that.
so now she is not with Amelia, is what we're reading there in the next line. Amelia does not see her, and so we see the accusative here, iam, so the am accusative. Amelia does not see her. The girl is in the garden, and Amelia can't see her while she's in the garden. Must be a pretty thick set of vegetation there. So it looks like the Magistra is pretty happy. Yeah, good. Right, she's giving us some ticks across the board. Good. And I guess you're comfortable with all that there? Are you, Agricola?
I am.
Cool. All right. I tell you what. If you do to the end of line 54, so essentially the next paragraph. I'll go to 55. It seems to finish nicely there. And then we'll call that the end of our lesson today, I think. What is it? Yeah, come on. 10 p.m. local time. So, yeah, all right. So if you go down to multae rosae sunt in line 55, we'll listen to Luke first and then we'll wrap it up there. So stand by.
Milimperat. Market quinte. Juliam vocate. Marcus et Quintus Juliam vocant. Julia. Veni. Sed Julius non audit neque venit. Julia pueros vocat. Market quinte, venite. Hic multae rosae sunt.
Okay, there we go. All right, over to you at Agricola, finishing at line 55 with multae rosae sunt.
Okay. Amelia imperat. Marce et Quinte. Juliam vocate. Marcus et Quintus Juliam vocant. Julia, veni. Sed Julia eos non audit nenque venit. Julia pueros vocat. Marce et Quinte, venite. Hic multae rosae sunt.
Good. I liked your passion and enthusiasm when reading all that out. That was some good imperatives there. Well done. Imperatives, is that correct for some of those terms? Good. All right. Talk us through it.
Okay, so Amelia instructs Marcus and Quintus to call Julia.
Oh, yep.
Marcus and Quintus call Julia.
Good.
Julia, come. But Julia does not hear, nor does she come.
Great.
Julia calls the boys, or calls out to the boys. Marcus and Quintus come here, and that's in the plural, venite. Hic multae rosae sunt. There are many roses here.
Good. Excellent. And I agree. I think with all your translation there, that was good. We see lots of accusatives in there, imperatives. We saw the nique, saw the nor again.
Eos.
Yeah, eos. Yep, good.
Eos.
And Magistra likes your efforts as well. All right, fantastic. All right, let's wrap it up there. We're just over halfway.
Actually, she raised a good point that Marco and Quinto changed to Marce and Quinte.
Good, and they are the vocative or vocative. That's right. That was the other case I was thinking of. I prefer the way that Magistra, and I think you say it as well, as the vocative, as opposed to, as I say it, the vocative. Ablative and vocative, ablative and vocative. I like vocative better. That sounds better too. So, right, the vocative case, we're directly referring, in this case, the names. So that's good. Yeah, good highlight. Good. We saw another case there. Well done. All right, let's wrap up a lesson there. That's for a few hours. That's a lot of Latin and vocabulary to push into your head for one day, and we need to sleep on that and rest and digest all those new words and the ablative case that we're seeing a lot of today. So that's very good. Thanks to Eusonius for joining us, who's been regaling us with some fantastic poetry on the Discord, and great to see him come along and cheer us on and watch us in our Latin lesson this evening. And of course, gratias to our magistra, who's always a wonderful help coming to our lessons with those quick, rapid-fire answers for us and checking our work. So that's wonderful that she can take time between her lessons there. So that's really good. And then, of course, we had other senators and one of the praetors on this evening. So, yes, lots of very important traffic and lots of viewers. It was great. I hope everybody watching the stream either live or on the YouTube channel in the future has learned as much as we have this evening. It appears that Agricola and I have both had a great time and just testing your knowledge. What's the word for happy or joyful, Agricola? Can you remember from chapter 3?
Good.
I think I've got it in my head. So you got the masculine, feminine and neuter forms, of course. Can you remember?
Starts with a P, I'm sure of that.
No. I think it's laetus. Is it not? Laetus, laeta, and laetum. Yeah, is that right? Is that to be happy? Yeah, there we go. There it is. The Magistra's just confirmed for us.
There you go. Laetus.
Yes. I should be able to say I am laetus. That's my homework. There we go. Anyway, all right. So, yeah, great. Thanks for joining us this evening. We're here at this time again this next Monday evening Australia time, or we start just before lunch Rome time, so 10 a.m. Rome time next Monday. Hopefully we can see you again next time. Until then, join us on all of our social media and our channels. All the links are below in the About section here, or in the links on the YouTube channel. And guess from both Agricola and I, Walete, see you next time. Hooroo.
Walete.